Who? Oh, Mark Mellinger. Welcome to the Lodge Student Ministry Podcast. This is your host, Pastor Cody Moorhead, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host with the mostest.
Oh, Admiral Baird.
Admiral Baird with a capital A.
Oh yeah, solid.
The sad part is you don't know if it's a capital A in Baird or Admiral. That's the truth.
I just think that I'm giving myself ranks each time.
Every time.
It's definitely just Captain Baird at one point.
Sea Captain Baird. I think that's just because we were going through a sea shanty phase, truthfully.
Oh, that's very true.
So
It's been CCNT's 2021.
It is true. But today, we've got some really incredible things. We are in the final stretch of our series, Habits. And I got to be honest, I have loved this series. I've really, really enjoyed this series for a lot of reasons. One, because I have loved the fact that we've talked about priorities. We've talked about what people are doing with their time, how they're doing it, the whole 9 yards. And I love, when it comes down to it, I love that we get to talk to students about how they spend their time. Because I think that's a huge part of growing up, is figuring out how to have some time management and figure out how to make the things that are really important to you a priority in time. Like for instance, like my kids. Like my kids are super important to me, like as a dad. And so I try to do whatever I can to make time for them, even when life is crazy. Like I try to make time for them. So I've loved talking about this, Caleb. Like we were talking about this the other day, really for you, especially in your life, like your whole mindset shifted when your time, when your time management and getting married and figuring out where you spend your time.
Yeah.
What was one of the things that you noticed the most about the time?
I think the first thing I noticed is how often I was just gone. Like I would get up and I'd leave for work, and then I would go to the church afterward to get some stuff done. And then I would go home, and then usually I would see Callie for a little bit and either decide that I was exhausted and going to sleep, or somebody would call me and be like, hey, do you want to go do something? And then we would just get up and go again. And so that was my biggest thing. I was like, I am just gone all the time. So when I really started looking at what I was doing, and I was like, I'm just kind of wasting time. I'm busy, but I'm not accomplishing much.
Yeah, I get that.
So
I feel that way all the time. I feel like that all the time for myself. I find myself sitting there watching TikTok, or I'm doing something, and I'm like, shouldn't I be doing something else? It's like when you walk into the bathroom and you were trying to go to the laundry room. Is that just me? No,
I thought you were going in a totally different direction.
No, but when you walk into the bathroom and you were trying to go to the laundry room and you just forgot where you were for a second because your brain.
I thought you were going to say
that must be an only me thing.
I thought you were going to say when you go to the bathroom, for number 2, and you take your phone with you, and next thing you know, you watch 2 Marvel movies. That's where I thought you were going with it.
And then your toesies go numb. Only the real ones know. If you know, you know. Up. Okay. But before we go any farther, I got to say I'm so excited. I'm so excited for our special guest tonight. You know this guy. A little bit. It's your dad, actually, but the owner and founder of CMB Custom Kicks, Marty Baird, is joining us tonight. Marty, how are you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are so
well.
pumped. We're so pumped for this. So Marty, we're going to show your social tags here just so people can see them. But we love the fact that you're here with us because you have this awesome story. And we've been friends now for 4 years.
4 years.
And I love every time you talk. I think I take something away that is unique about you and the way that God has made you, and I love it, and especially your creativity. We'll show right real quick some of these kicks that you've made. I stinking love these. Some of these are just so cool and so unique. And you're making these for people all over the place.
Right.
These are coming from all corners of the globe right now.
Now, isn't it true? You just got your first or second possible order.
I love those
out of the country.
Those are so stinking cool.
Yeah, I have a pair of heels that I'm going to be hydro dipping for a lady in Canada, But I was just talking to a lady today who wants 6 pairs of shoes, and she's on the other side of the pond in England.
Oh,
That's crazy.
crikey! No, that's Australia.
That's Australia.
How dare you not give me some of these creative genes?
Yeah.
How dare you not pass these along to me?
I don't know what to tell you.
But also something cool. You can't see him, but because he's off camera. But you have a service dog.
Yeah.
GP, who is amazing. You can't see him because he's off camera right now, but he's a good boy. He's such a good boy.
He's trying to get up here
Yeah,
right now.
Exactly. So
Come here.
he's
It's all right.
figuring. Oh, here he goes.
Come on, up.
He's a ham. That's
There
awesome.
we go.
So GP, you got GP.
Our views just doubled because we saw the
I know,
dog
right?
on camera.
Everybody's like, "There's a dog," right?
Right.
GP is amazing, such a good boy. But so talk a little bit about GP and why you have GP.
Well, I've been with GP since November of 2017. In 2004, I went to Iraq, and I came back, and as Caleb can tell you, I wasn't quite right. I was kind of messed up, and went through all my therapies and stuff, but ended up getting GP. He's trained for post-traumatic stress disorder. He just kind of keeps me even, you know.
That is, I love it. I think it's so cool and unique. And every time, like, you know, a lot of people I don't think a lot of people realize there's a difference between like people who say they have like comfort dogs, like therapy dogs, and people who actually have registered, licensed, you know, companion support dogs.
Right.
Because a lot of people put a vest on a dog and walk them around.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean, that's totally fine if that's what people want to do. But like your experience with GP, like has like, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. Like, it's really changed for the better in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, and I love that. I mean, GP is such a sweet dog, and he's
thank you.
so well behaved. Unlike my dog. My dog is terrible. So he's cute and he's cuddly. But he's so poorly behaved. Anyways, he's out on a walk right now. In fact, that's why our other co-host with the most, Mark Mellinger's not here. He took Rufus on a walk tonight, just so that we could have this awesome time together. So we're talking about habits, right? So we're talking about how habits like affect our life, and I want to talk through. So you started. Tell me a little bit about CMB Custom Kicks.
Well, it actually started out more as like some personal therapy. With PTSD, my mind kind of goes all over, and that was a way to focus. And so it kind of just developed from there. I was watching some videos, and I was like, maybe these guys are painting shoes. I'm painting. I can do that. And that's where it started. I got my first airbrush kit for Christmas, and that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty close to.
And there we go.
That is awesome. That's just so stinking cool. What Okay, so here's what I want to know. How do you like break into making custom? Because the custom kicks are like humongous.
You have a persuasive son who tells you to stop hiding behind it.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of that was the thing. He was like, "Why are you wasting time just painting shoes for yourself?"
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, like they're amazing. Like they're so good. Our senior pastor Kyle Young has a pair of your custom kicks. They say hodl on them. They're Air Force Ones, and they're so stinking cool. Like he's got some of the coolest kicks I've seen pastors. We actually submitted them to Preachers and Sneakers.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We wanted them to see it, but
That's awesome.
I don't think I think they only deal with like the guys who have $8,000 pairs of shoes.
Right.
Like craziness.
Well, get a pair of $8,000 shoes, and I'll put some paint on them.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we should do. That would be the way to get on Preachers and Sneakers.
Right.
Put them on the map. But so part of that is like your creativity, and we talk all the time in the lodge about how students can use their creativity to engage with other people. So I was wondering, like, I know that you're a creative guy. How has that really helped you connect with people, you know, and see things from a different perspective? And obviously stuff like this where you're doing custom kicks and you're reaching all these people. How's that helped?
Well, it helps because when you're doing something unique and you're being yourself, people want to know more about you, and they ask you questions. The key is just be nice.
Yeah.
Be positive, you know. Be open to people asking questions. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we have in common, but you don't take the time to get to know someone, you never really realize it.
That's so I couldn't agree more. I like I am not nearly as creative as you are, but I like to try and be creative. And I think when you try to be creative, you start to see things. One of the core components of creativity is you see the world differently. Wouldn't you agree? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you see things differently. Like you see shapes different. You see colors different. You see the way things go together. And one of the things I love is like your ability to pull all these different elements together and make them this masterpiece. I mean, show that Suicide Squad pair again. I loved this just to me is so stinking cool. I love the fades. I love exactly. I love how you incorporated the characters. I love how even the box has Suicide Squad on it. Like it's just so well done. It's like if I were like people pay top dollar for these custom kicks. I mean, and it's incredible. But this brought joy to somebody's life. This made somebody feel unique and special, and like they had something great to offer.
Right. Actually, fun fact about those shoes: he was told he could wear them one time, and they were getting put in a display case in the house.
That's my nephew. I sent those down to him.
That's awesome.
He wore them once, and now they're sitting in his room on a shelf.
That is. So
I think something cool that comes with the territory, because I see my dad quite a bit, because he's my dad. Yeah. And so I always kind of ask him like how the shoe thing's going, how's like online, because he posts on so many platforms, and he was telling me maybe a month ago, he was like, I'm doing a really special pair of shoes right now. And I was like, oh yeah. He goes, well, they're for a benefit. I'm like, oh, for what? And like he then explains to me like this family story of like it was their daughter who I don't know cancer, but
no, she had muscular
dystrophy. Yeah. So like he's connecting with people on like a relational level. Like people don't just tell that story to people because they're like,
right.
Hey, I like your video. My daughter's sick. I mean, there are people like that, but usually they're not telling the truth. But like that specific scenario, like he's gotten to learn so much about people.
Right. Well, just in general, I'm in a collaboration group on one of my platforms, and we just do all kinds of different things. And you have to you push yourself. That's the whole thing. Is don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes in that failure is where the most beautiful stuff happens.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like for example, you mentioned the Suicide Squads. The background was all airbrushed, and it wasn't supposed to look that way.
I remember you saying that.
That's like that blows my mind. That blows my mind because like it's so stinking unique and cool looking. I'm thinking that was so awesome. Like how do you even do that?
I almost stripped the whole thing off because when I first put the paint down, it didn't look the way I saw it in my head. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna finish it and see how it turns out, and then there you go.
I love that. And I love how you said, like, don't be afraid to fail. Like, I think the biggest hindrance to creativity is insecurity. Like, but it could be the biggest key, right? Like sometimes our insecurities come from a place of we don't feel valued enough, and we should be expressing that in a way that is unique to us so that it connects with other people. But a lot of times and I know we talk about this all the time with students, like our level of our understanding of our own value always trumps what we're trying to accomplish.
Oh yeah.
Or it gets in the way, right? If I think I'm too great, I'm gonna be too sure of myself in areas I shouldn't be, and I'm gonna end up walking all over people. If I'm not sure enough, then I don't have the confidence to even take that first step. And so there's this mixture of you have to have both confidence but also humility because I think confidence has humility built in.
Right.
It's not cockiness or arrogance, which I think are different things. Like confidence has humility built in, and it's confidence in like I can do this even if I'm going to fail. Like I tell students all the time, fail hard. Like it's okay.
I think something that I to kind of go back and stuff I've seen at my parents' house when I visited, my dad first started this. He was just looking for shoes. He's like, I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of money. So like the church's rummage sale came up, and he's like, I'm gonna go look at their shoes. Well, he ends up finding this like old retro like red and black Ben Wallace shoe, and he takes them. And now this is somebody who has got all these fabulous shoes that he's made, and he's still got this ugly beat up pair that the paint didn't set right. It was supposed to be a Super Mario World, and like it's through it, like everything faded. And I'm always like joking to myself. I'm like, he keeps it there to know, like, this is how far you could fall back if you don't push forward. But it's a reminder of like how far he's come.
Absolutely.
Like, so I just always think it's funny. I'm like, you've got all these great shoes, and like that's the pair that like I see when I come to the house. Like, it's just chilling there.
It's my motivation.
I'm like, they're beat up, they're busted.
And they are, that was a terrible concept, but I pushed through it, and it turned out like garbage. And now that's what I look at. And it's like, that's how far I've come.
That's why he requests white shoes.
I'm a graphic designer, and like when I first started, I look back at the stuff I first made till now, and I go, right, because like we look back on what we did before, and we go, oh my gosh, it was so bad. But the truth is, like, I've really tried to change like, I even like now going back and watching old sermons of like what I like when I used to, like when I started speaking till now, it's like I go, oh, it's like that cringe, like,
right.
Oh, but I think we need to embrace that, because the reason we're cringing is because where we're at now is so much it's like with people when they're looking at bad haircuts that they had in their childhood,
right,
like where you are now is so much more aware, so much more understanding, and so much better off than where you were before.
Just look at the podcast alone.
Oh yeah!
Like,
oh my gosh!
When
yeah.
we launched as Cody and Caleb Talk About Things, and it was like,
oh my gosh, yeah,
a complete rambling to like.
Yeah, it was like when we started and we had a desk, right?
No, we sat at the pool table.
Yeah, that's right. We sat at that pool table right there. That pool table that is in the background behind you. We sat there and we were holding the microphones.
We were holding the microphones in our hands.
We had a laptop and we had like an interface, and we were like trying to figure out. We basically barely recorded. The audio was terrible, right? And we just sucked it up, and we kept putting out content. And people were like, "We love this." And we're like, "I don't know why. It's just us talking, but like apparently people like that."
No,
so
it was crazy. And then like, and now look at us. We weekly guests. We're live. Like it's that motivation. It's that like. We cringe because of the progress that we've made, and we're on the right track as like individuals too. Like, so I don't know. I was just
and I think the other thing about it too is, and I love what you said. Like the progress, right? The progress, you can't overshadow the progress because you're ashamed of the past.
Right.
You have to look at it as this is the progress. Like this is what we did. Like,
well, it's life.
Yeah, exactly.
Your past makes you who you are.
Exactly.
And what you do with that knowledge is up to you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I like, so another thing, I think we've said this at youth group a handful of times, is like comparison, right? Like comparison is the enemy of progress.
Right.
Because either you feel inferior or superior, and neither one of those glorifies God, and neither one of those is actually helpful to you. And so like when it comes down to it, you like, there's like Picasso, there's like all these other artists. Like, what have you done? What have you done to not be stuck comparing yourself to all these greats, that are out there, and just being great yourself? Like, how have you separated? Because to me, my biggest fear is always like, especially as a pastor, when I'm speaking, I'm thinking nobody cares to listen to me because we got all these Stephen Furtick's and Andy Stanleys and Mike Todd's out there. Like nobody cares what I have to say. Like. But how have you gotten past that to the place where you're like, no, I have value? Like, well, you know what I'm saying?
What is his name again?
Picasso,
yeah. He was actually the first guy that I saw do shoes.
Yeah.
And I
wasn't it those Christmas Day shoes he did?
It was
for the NBA.
Yeah. I saw those. And I was like, I could probably do this. And then I reached this point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not any of the guys that are doing shoes. I'm me. And that's all I can be. I have to put me on those shoes,
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. I went from hand painting to airbrushing, and now I'm hydro dipping.
Which is awesome. Like, look at the progress, like from airbrush to hydro dipping.
I think I sent you a picture, actually.
Of the hydro dip?
I think so.
The bandana one, right?
No, the bandana was actual bandana. I thought I sent some Vans, but maybe not.
Which ones?
You did. The
slide
change?
Vans? No, that's hand painted too. Maybe I didn't send them. I have a pair of old school map hydro dipped Vans.
Oh, that's right. He did the world map.
Well, these are hydro dipped.
Might as well pop it off and.
Those are Hey, let's can you take one of those off so we can show on the?
Yeah, I can do that.
This is abnormal. But we have to do this. Just hold it up so we can see it because
play no funky
it's
music.
Incredible. Yeah, can we have some background music here, Jesse, so we can?
Good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone.
These were all white.
That is legit.
These were all white, and I painted them red, black, and then I hydro dipped them.
Can I see? Can I get these here? Wow, that is incredible. Like, and the detail is nuts.
Well, it's because it's a hydrofilm. It's the same stuff they put on car parts.
That's incredible. That all used to be white.
Yeah, everything. Tongue, inside, everything.
Just made your own custom shoe, and it's legit.
Much better than Little Nas.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to get a pair of custom sneakers, Lodge kids. Go to CMB Custom Kicks.
That's right.
Not Lil Nas X.
Tell them Kick sent you. Oh.
Exactly. Kicks sent you. So that brings up another good point. Like, so you've used your platform, right? And your creativity to build a following on social media.
Yeah.
And not just on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, but now on this new app called Clapper, right? Which students actually, you're not going to be able to get a Clapper because it's 17 plus, right?
Right, 17 and up.
But it's a lot like TikTok. But talk about like, it's actually, you have like, there's prayer groups.
Yes.
There's like,
yep, there's
all
Clapper,
sorts of things.
They have Clapper Church. There's prayer groups.
Yeah.
There's people that just get together and their content is just reading scripture verses. I mean, there's a lot of different things that go on.
Yeah. I just love that. Like, I love that, like, through it all, there's this idea that everything that we do, and I think you're a good example of this, like, everything you're doing is all for the purpose of sharing the hope and the kindness and the love of Jesus.
Right.
Which I think is so awesome.
Yep.
I just think that's so stinking cool. I love that.
See, for me, it's just a matter of being genuine, showing people that I care. You know, I'll go into people's lives, and not for any other reason, just to say, hey, I'm here. I like you. How you doing?
Yeah.
Show some love, you know.
And I think that makes a huge difference. I think, and one thing is, like, students, if you're watching this, like, or if you're listening to this on the playback, here's the thing, like, make it a habit in your life to just genuinely care about people, and the dividends, like, you're going to reap what you sow there. Because I've seen so many people who just care about people for that, like, you scratch your back and I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. And, like, that's not actually the way that we can be most productive,
right,
like, in our relationship with Jesus.
Right.
In fact, the best way is for us to do things without expecting anything in return.
Right.
So Caleb, I'm going to go back to you. We were talking about this, I think last week. I think you and I talked about this, but about how, you know, this generation has the potential to really blow the doors off the church and do some amazing things. Oh,
absolutely.
But there's also a big fallback, right? That they're very apathetic.
I think you said apathetic, but if I'm right, the conversation started because of we were joking about the shower thoughts, and the one that popped up was like hanging out with toxic people because you're lonely is no better than drinking poison because you're thirsty.
Exactly. Yes.
And it started on the whole, like, people don't have, like, difference in their friend groups anymore. Like, everybody is the same, right? Which is then causes that, like, that apatheticness of the generation, where it's like they don't want to be told no. They just kind of want to always be told yes, that you're great, you're going to do wonderful things. And I'm like, I don't get that. Because I think my growth and a lot of my habits were told, like, hey, like, you're kind of being a cruddy person right now.
It's true.
Like having somebody in your life that tells you that hard truth is like...
It's true. I don't think, like, I mean, because nobody wants to hear the bad stuff, right? Like, nobody wants to hear that they're cruddy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, do you, like, okay, if you finished a pair of shoes and they were like, you were proud of them, they were awesome. what do you want people to say to you?
Oh, I want people to like them.
You want people to like them, yeah. Like, and that's not wrong. Like,
And
no,
the
that's not wrong at
anxiety.
all. Exactly. It's like it's like when my kids bring me something. Like my son today, this morning, this actual morning, my son brought me this toy that he had they're Duplo blocks. So it's like, okay, he's not a Picasso, but whatever. Like, he put these blocks together and he was like, Daddy, like, and he was like handing it to me, and my response as his father could have gone one or two ways.
Right.
Like, I could have been like, what are you, like, where's the X-wing that you were supposed to build me? Right. Like,
What
you know,
is
like,
this?
what is this? You know,
I've been waiting on
garbage.
Baby Yoda for 3 months, Blaze.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Garbage. You know, like, but the truth is, like, oh, dude, this is so cool, because like in that moment, like, what he's looking for is the affirmation to know that he has value, that he has and the going back to that is like, that's the problem with our affirmation coming from other people all the time, and not from God, who's told us what our value is, right? Like, when we derive our value from other people, we end up having these weird conversations about where our value comes from. Our value has been assigned to us from the moment we were born, and it's like, our value is beyond anything we can even understand, and it's everybody has equal value. Like, and we all mean the world to Jesus Christ. Like, but we are constantly in this place where we're playing the comparison game, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, you see what that person did. That person is cooler than me, or that person wears cooler sneakers than me, or like, that person has more money than me, or like, whatever. It's like, that's not where your value comes from. Like,
So I remember going through. We didn't have the Habit series, but we talked about value a lot when I was in youth group, and we went to a speaker, and I can't remember if I was a junior or a senior, but basically he's like, you'll never be happy if your focus isn't on Jesus. Like, you'll be happy, but like, you won't have that fulfilling happiness that like. He also said, you'll never be happy by looking at everyone's highlight reel while knowing what's behind the scenes.
oh my gosh, yeah.
And I sat there in high school and I was like, oh my goodness, that made so much more sense.
Right.
And I've got my parents and pastors, like, people tell me like don't play the comparison game, because it's a losing battle no matter what, whether you compare yourself when you're better or worse in your own mind. And then he's like, don't compare their highlight reel to your behind the scenes. And that was just at the peak of Instagram, when it was just kind of like starting to take over, and the like, people could start being promoters on there. And I was like, oh my goodness, that like carried so much weight. It's something I still remember to this day. And every time I'm on TikTok or I'm on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, and I'm like, man, I don't, why is my life not like that? I'm like, no, it is, in a different way. And I think that we've got a lot of students in the lodge who kind of need to like step back and look at it like from that way. Because you said it on Sunday night, like, you don't think you're this, you're probably just playing the comparison game, and now you're in like self-loathing. Like,
yeah, it's not like our job is like, I think this, like, our job is as followers of Jesus Christ is to honor God and to glorify God, meaning like bring God the credit for all the good as often as we possibly can. Like, and that is not, there's no exception. It's not like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, if like from 2 to 4, I'm going to glorify God with everything I do, but everything, no, it means like and the Bible's pretty clear, like whatever you eat or drink, whatever you do it for the glory of God. I think that's 2 Corinthians 10:31. Like, whatever you eat or drink, whatever you do it for the glory of God. Like, we have to have that mentality. We have to be hungry for that. And Marty, I love that about CMB Custom Kicks, because it's not just, you're not just making shoes. Like, that's what I think is so cool about it. It's like, you're genuinely caring and loving on people through the medium of creativity and sneakers, which I'm a sneakerhead. Like, so I get that. And I know we have a lot of viewers that are sneakerheads, like, and love that. Like, I think that is just such a unique and different way for us to reach people with love without ever having to even talk about Jesus. Like, that's the gospel. That literally, we're sharing the love of Jesus Christ in the gospel without ever even implicitly stating it.
My goal is to treat everyone I come in contact with the same respect, and not change who I am. And if they ever say, hey, what makes you different? Great. I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to kick the door in and say, "Hey, let me tell you about." No, I need a relationship with you first.
Exactly.
You know, and like you said, comparing yourself to people, there's nothing good that's going to come of that ever.
No,
You
never.
know, we all have
Yeah.
that special thing we bring to the table, but if you spend your entire life worrying about where you think you fall short, you'll never succeed with that thing that you're good at. You're never going to bring that to the forefront.
Exactly. So like you have, there's this incredible thing about like about genuine interactions with people that are different. Like, and we just know, like, we all know it. Nobody is like, nobody's like, I never had that. Like, we all know when we've had an interaction with a genuine person because we walk away going, I want to be around that person. Right. Like, it's not like, oh man, I'm starstruck because like, and it doesn't even have to be, it's not talking about famous people. It's not talking about people who are like, it is literally just, you know how amazing it is to be around people who are authentic, not perfect, not amazing, but authentic. And you don't have to worry about like, okay, is this person going to come at me sideways? Like I think that is part and parcel with the idea that we care for people.
Right.
More than we care about our own comfort and our comfortability, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
So like, I love that. I just think that's so cool. I think what you're doing is so neat. I think it's so unique, and I think it really reaches a broad brushstroke of people. So okay, so talk about this. Like, what's your favorite shoe? What's your favorite shoe to paint on? Like favorite style? Vans,
Air Force One,
Converse,
Air Force One,
yeah,
definitely. Leather shoes.
Oh yeah,
you know they're so much better to paint on. I like doing certain things on canvas. I mean, if you have Clapper, I just posted a video where I did a Galaxy Planets theme.
I know you're showing me that picture.
And
awesome.
It came out great. I look at it and it's like that's probably one of the best shoes I've ever done. But it's because I made it a habit of pushing myself.
Oh yeah.
I made it a habit of always trying to go to that next level.
And you've reaped some like quiet benefits because of this. Not just in like people are buying the shoe or paying for it to whatever, but like you did a shoe for Pastor Kyle. It's not the preaching shoe,
right?
And it's not like a everyday wearing shoe. You did it for Garena Free Fire, right? Like you painted a shoe for him to give away, like, and that like a
because you did his Dad Venture, right?
I did.
You did the One Punch Man shoes.
I did.
Yep.
You did,
and I've got 2 at the house that I'm working on,
which are awesome.
And you did the Cupcake Kylie,
and I did Cupcake Kylie.
Exactly.
I'm doing a flame carver that's sitting at the house.
So stinking cool. See, like, so if I'm summing all this up, this is so good. It's just so stinking good. Like, if I'm summing all this up, okay, and we're talking to students about how they can make a difference, I think that you are a great example of how to use your unique skills and abilities to glorify God. Because I think that that truly is what worship is. I think a lot of times when we hear about worship, we think it's like music,
right?
Like I don't think that's what that is, like, at all. Like, I'll give you another example. Like, the guy that Adam Crane from Ministry Inc. who did my tattoos, he is a guy who same way as an artist, uniquely is sharing the love of Jesus with people through tattoos, and very intentionally. Like, he's no holds bar. Like, he tells people, like, I love the Lord. Like, I love Jesus. This is what my whole life's about. Like, if you're in the chair getting tattooed, I am going to talk to you about my faith. I am going to talk to you about my Jesus. And like, it was just best conversation. Like, I had so much fun talking to him. Till now, like, I love that guy. Like, and I think that once again, it goes back to, like, you've used creativity to connect with people and love on them,
right?
And intentionally share. So, like, for students, okay, you can use your creativity and you can use social media to really make a difference, but you got to be intentional. You got to make habits of it. You have a habit, like, you post all the time.
Right.
Your stuff pops up all the time.
Right.
So, like, how did you make that a priority? Like, how did you just push through? Because it's tough at first.
It is. For me, it was like, if I'm really, truly trying to get my art out there and I want to use that for, it's a talent. God gave me it. I'm supposed to use it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to use it if I half step. You know, I have to just you're all in. When you hit that point where you're like, I'm a content creator, I'm gonna be doing this art, it's an all in thing, and you look for ways to create content on a schedule. You have to just make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's what do we say, Caleb, at the lodge? We said something along the lines of like, there is no magical formula to like growing like in your relationship with Jesus. There isn't. Like,
It's doing it.
It's just doing it. Like, you just have to do it. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you don't want to, sometimes you just have to push through and you have to do it. Because sometimes, like I used to, okay, if you're listening to this, you're some theologian or Bible scholar, I apologize. But the truth is, I used to tell people all the time, like, sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it.
Right.
Like, I don't mean that as in like you need to be disingenuous, but sometimes you're not going to want to go read your Bible for 45 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. You're just not going to want to. But that's where you just have to dedicate yourself to doing it. You have to dedicate yourself to the lifestyle of somebody who loves Jesus. And after a while, it's going to become something that is really important to you.
Right.
And it just becomes a daily part. Like, it's,
and keep your eyes open for opportunities.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, sometimes God's telling you to do something and you know it in your heart and you're like, no, I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough. No, there's a reason he's saying do this.
Yeah.
You know, there was a live I was going to go into and I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't, you know, and I popped into it and it was a great guy. I've just met him, you know, and he was on lunch break at work and all he was doing was praying for people. He had like 50 people in his room and he's like, what's your prayer request? What's your prayer requests? You know?
I love it.
And I felt like God was like, just pray. So I got on his live. He pulled me up, do a live. I prayed for him just because he's up there praying for other people, you know?
That's awesome.
And it's just being real at the time. It's in the moment. And you got to just be open to stuff.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Marty, thanks so much for coming on, like the podcast. I know this has been great. We get to talk about so many cool things with so many cool people.
Yeah.
And it really, like, it's genuinely fun. Like, we don't walk away from it like, oh man, that was okay. Like, we walk away from it like, that was awesome. Like,
and there's always somebody new who comes up to us and be like, oh, I got to listen. That was so great, man. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like,
we were in softball, and I had two guys come up to me and say, like, man, we watched the podcast from last week. It was really good. Like, you guys are going to do it this weekend? We're like, yeah, we got a special guest on. It's going to be awesome. So, like, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, love it. Yeah. Caleb, do you have any like special thoughts? Like,
yeah.
Anything?
Every word in every language started out as gibberish until one person convinced others that it had meaning.
Yes!
Nice.
I gotta be honest, like, that's the only reason I do the podcast is for the end. I'm just kidding.
That's awesome.
So as always, Wednesday nights, 7:30 p.m. live, the Lodge Student Ministry podcast. We keep having amazing, awesome people on. I believe next week, next Wednesday is going to be Lisa Bascom, the owner of Brooklyn Products, the one of only 3 companies left in the world that produce foam fingers.
Awesome.
That is going to be amazing. And this is incredible to me. Do you know how many amazing guests we've had on? And like, we haven't even had to like pull from more than like 10, 15 minutes away from us. We have so many incredible people that are close to us that do these awesome things. Like, we have Carver on, and we have Cassidy on, and we have we have this great. So we're going to keep churning out guests. It's going to be awesome. Brian Ferguson was on. Yep. Brian Ferguson, who's, works for the Attorney General's office. Like, it's incredible. So like, we've just had a really great couple of podcasts, and we love your input. So if you're watching and you have any input or any special guests you'd like to see on, or any special topics that you want us to talk about, next week we're going to be looking at the upcoming sermon series that we have starting in June.
Oh yeah.
And also, if you don't know this, Monday nights, June 14th is the first Monday Night Madness that we're going to have for the Lodge Student Ministry. We're moving from Sunday nights to Monday nights from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and you're invited. And that 14th is Superhero Night, right?
Oh, yeah.
Superhero Academy. So dress up like your favorite superhero.
I'm gonna wear a onesie.
I'm gonna wear
No,
my
probably-
Wonder
probably
Woman.
not.
I'm gonna wear my Wonder Woman costume.
Hey, don't talk about that. I'm doing a Wonder Woman shoe.
Because I'm actually
Shout
behind the scenes.
It's actually a heel. I've actually crossed over. I'm doing heels.
Oh, I know. I saw.
I'm
Jen's, I saw
hydro-dipping
your
some
wife's
heels.
Your wife's heels that you hydro dipped on Sunday. Those are awesome. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little. I'm not. You know, I don't. I look like a busted can of biscuits when I wear that Wonder Woman outfit. But
That's okay.
maybe I'll just go as Thor, who I really should be going as.
Too easy. Step
Too
out of your
easy,
comfort zone.
Right. So I just okay. Well,
Go as Miles Morales. Pull
Miles
that one off.
Go
Morales.
as Ant-Man.
I can't do that.
Why don't you be Ant-Man, the shrunken version?
I could be the shrunken version. I'm just in a green screen outfit and I have Ant-Man on my foot.
Right.
This tall. Guys, I'm Ant-Man. I'm going to figure out how to do close-up magic, just like Paul Rudd. But yeah, June 14th is our first Monday Night Madness. June 9th, we're going to have this will be a special podcast on June 9th, which is Wednesday night, June 9th, right? Correct? Do I have my dates right? Do you want to fact check me there? I'm almost, I don't know when June 9th is.
Because I feel like you were like, June 9th's a Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah,
you were
June
like,
9th, Wednesday, June 9th, because what we're going to be doing is, now get this, we're going to be watching Loki, okay? We're going to be watching Loki as the podcast group beforehand, and we're going to give you our reaction to Loki.
I thought you were going to say we're going to watch it live. I'm like, yeah, we're going to get shut down
We're
real
not
fast.
going to watch it live, but we are going to watch it beforehand together, and we're going to give you our honest reaction of Loki, season 1, episode 1.
I
on
low-key
Disney
hope
Plus.
it's good.
Oh,
All facts, no
oh
printer.
man, that's mischievous.
Aha.
Anyway, so well, I mean, cue the outro music, Jesse. This has been another episode of the Lodge Student Ministry Podcast. Marty, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And put that social card up here again in case you didn't check it out. These are all the places you could find Marty, CMB Custom Kicks, CMB Custom Kicks, at Kicks CMB, CMB Custom Kicks. Those are the places. Make sure that you go to his YouTube and subscribe, CMB Custom Kicks, for more information and videos on the reg, all the cool stuff he's doing. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks. This has been the Lodge Student Ministry Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.